Yesterday, I used my position, my lofty position as someone who was born and raised in Idaho, now currently living in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. But I used my familiarity and, concern for Idaho politics to talk about a story that took place over the weekend. A woman named Dr. Teresa Borrenpohl was physically assaulted, her constitutional rights violated by a cast of sinister characters. And I'm not going to rehash the entire story, but while I'm reading the statements, a lot of you, hundreds of you reached out asking for an update. Make sure I follow the story and follow up as to what took place relative to her possible consequences for doing nothing but being a concerned citizen and exercising the freedoms and rights that are protected by our Constitution for all of us. Equal protection under the law as protected by the 14th Amendment of our Constitution. Her Fourth Amendment rights were violated, her First Amendment rights were violated, and a lot of you were asking for an update. So here's the cast of characters other than Dr. Teresa Borrenpohl. You've got this Ed Bejarana, Californian, by the way, not the kind of Californian that these fascist Idahoans apparently don't like. It's only the liberals or the reasonable types that they don't like. The fascists, they're happy with. The other is Bob Norris, another Californian who is the sheriff of Kootenai County, which is the county in which Coeur d'Alene, Idaho finds itself. And then Lear Asset Management, a California company, or at least the phone number for which is a Santa Rosa, California area code. All of these are the cast of characters who violated the rights of the good doctor, who is, by the way, a political opponent. She has run for office in the state of Idaho for the state legislature, lost in a general election, but this could be the weaponization of government that the Republicans are constantly talking about. Punishing someone who holds a different political view and someone who has sought political office. This Ed Bejarana guy, the Californian MC for the event, the mighty podcaster, and I say that as a podcaster. I want to remind you of what he said. I did get some pushback in the comments. Look, you're just being exaggerative. Let's just deal with this on its face. The guy just seems to be wanting to restore order. Is that what you heard when he said, and look at this little girl is afraid to leave, just spoke up, and now she doesn't want to suffer the consequences? Isn't that the problem that we're struggling with? So many people want to behave poorly and not struggle with the consequences. That is shameful, says the fascist jerk-off, as he also says, well, I'll just keep talking. I could talk over all of you. I've got a microphone. Big, mighty fascist clown show. So anyway, the update is this. I have two statements, one from the city police chief of Coeur d'Alene and one from the mayor's office. And spoiler alert, not only are they dropping all charges related to the citation of the doctor, she's not a little girl, she's a grown woman with a doctorate, Ed Bejarana, whatever your fucking name is. This is the statement from the chief of police, Lee White. The Coeur d'Alene Police Department is investigating the incident at Kootenai County Republican Central Committee Town Hall on Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 at the Coeur d'Alene High School. On Saturday, February 22nd, 2025, the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee organized and held a town hall meeting which was open to the public at Coeur d'Alene High School. During the meeting, opinions were expressed both for and against the various topics of discussion. During the meeting, after speaking out of turn, Teresa Borrenpohl was asked to leave. When she refused, she was physically removed by private employees of a private California company, Lear Asset Management, the number you will see on screen at some point. A private security firm hired by the event organizers. Officers who were in the school parking lot due to a threat to one of the state legislators were alerted to the incident after Borrenpohl, was removed. During the initial investigation, officers learned Borrenpohl bit one of the men involved in removing her. With the officer's limited information at the time, Borrenpohl was cited for battery. That was the charge, battery. Since the initial investigation, officers and detectives have continued to investigate this incident. After reviewing all new evidence and video related to the event, the city prosecuting attorney's office has moved to dismiss the citation against Borrenpohl in the interest of justice. Seems like a pretty decent interest to come into play when you're dealing with police with arrest power, when you're dealing with armed agents of the state that can frequently find themselves slipping into the morass of violating people's constitutional rights. The business license, and here's the rub that really adds a little justice to the taste of the meal here. The business license for Lear Asset Management has been revoked for violating Coeur d'Alene city ordinances regarding security agencies and agents. And if you'd like to look that up, it is City Code 5.32. And then finally here, this is the final paragraph I'm going to read from this. The Coeur d'Alene Police Department recognizes and values all rights afforded by the Constitution. First of all, they're not afforded by the Constitution. You should know this, police department. They are protected by the Constitution. The Constitution does not grant us our rights. Our rights are inalienable. The Constitution is just a metric by which they are protected. It is a device to protect our natural rights. Maybe that's pedantic. I don't believe so. All rights afforded by the United States Constitution to all citizens, including the right to free speech. This is a complex incident, and detectives continue to work through all aspects of the investigation. More information will be released as it becomes available. Well, the only thing that's missing here is charging the sheriff of Kootenai County for the violation of her civil rights, directing the goons, the private goon squad, to assault her, to detain her, to temporarily kidnap the good doctor. We're missing that. Very briefly, here's a couple of paragraphs from the Office of the Mayor. Mayor Woody McEvers and the Coeur d'Alene City Council are united in our support of equal protection under the law for every citizen. We set a clear expectation that the laws of the state of Idaho and the U.S. Constitution will be followed in any interactions with our citizens. We support the efforts of our police chief and department personnel in investigating the incident involving a citizen that occurred at the legislators' town hall meeting on February 22nd, 2025 at Coeur d'Alene High School, located inside the city of Coeur d'Alene. They're establishing their jurisdiction there. That the Kootenai County Sheriff was out of his element, out of his jurisdiction. He was there as a private citizen, as a political actor. And they're reclaiming their jurisdiction. As city leaders, we have a long history of strongly supporting human rights, civil rights, and dignity for all. Citizens and visitors to Coeur d'Alene can count on those guiding principles. For now we can. And good for her. There is a GoFundMe for Dr. Borrenpohl. She runs a website. This is a woman who is dedicated to the prospect of expanding democracy, of getting people to get involved and active in the process of running for office, of taking an active role in governing. They don't like that. They don't like that. So good, I'm glad that there has action been taken to relieve her of the stress of the litigation and the criminal proceedings that we're facing. And this is what they want. This is what Republicans want. This is what these fascist jerk-offs want, is they want to threaten criminal investigation and prosecution for utilizing your First Amendment right, exercising your constitutionally protected right to redress your government, of free speech, of illegal search and seizure and arrest, detainment, kidnapping from private goon squads. Anybody that interrupted with positivity, like applause, they could stay. If you interrupted because you disagreed, you got to go and you're going to be assaulted. Is that America? Apparently that's Idaho's America. One of the reasons I don't live there anymore. Nor will I ever. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. Once again, you can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always daily at dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.